Hello, welcome to Microeconomics with Untitled. In this session, we are focusing on the cost of production. When a firm plans to increase or decrease its production, it will want to know how that change will affect its cost. The total cost of a firm equals to fixed costs plus variable costs. Fixed costs do not vary as output varies, while variable costs are costs that vary as output varies. For example, raw materials used for production increase as output increases. In the short run, most costs are fixed, like your insurance and your rent. And over the long run, many costs become variable. For example, a firm can decide to increase its capital or to even introduce new products. This graph shows that total cost is a sum of variable costs and fixed costs. It shows also that variable costs vary as output changes, whereas fixed cost is a straight line showing that it does not vary as output changes. In this session, we are focusing on the short-run cost of production, where there is only one variable cost. Other costs in the short run are marginal cost and average cost. Marginal cost is the increase in cost that results from producing one extra unit of output. It is incremental. It is equals to change in total cost divided by change in output. But in the short run, we know that fixed costs do not vary as output varies. Therefore, marginal cost is also equal to change in variable cost divided by change in output. Average cost, which is also known as average total cost, equals to total cost divided by output, and average fixed cost equals to fixed cost divided by output. Average variable cost equals to variable cost divided by output. This graph here shows the relationship between marginal cost and average cost. It also shows that average cost, also known as average total cost, is a sum of average variable cost and average fixed cost. So the relationship between marginal cost and average cost is that whenever the marginal cost lies below average cost, the average cost curve falls. And whenever marginal cost lies above the average cost, the average cost curve rises. Marginal cost, it equals to average cost at its minimum. That is at this point here. Let us go back now to marginal cost. We said marginal cost equals to change in total cost divided by change in output. It also equals to change in variable cost divided by change in output. We know that in the short run, labor is the variable cost, and the price of labor is wages. So we can then rewrite the equation and say marginal cost equals to wages times change in labor divided by change in output. But we also know that marginal product of labor equals to change in output divided by change in labor. And the inverse of this equation is 1 over marginal product of labor equals to change in labor divided by change in output. And you can see that this is the same as this part of the equation. Change in labor divided by change in output. So if we take 1 over MPL and substitute it into this equation here, what we will get is marginal cost equals to wage divided by marginal product of labor. All this equation here is saying is that when there is only one variable input, in this case being labor, the marginal cost is equal to the price of the input. In this case, which is wages, the price of labor is wages divided by its marginal product. Let us look at this exercise. In this exercise, we are given labor from 0 to 4. We're given total output, marginal product, and the wage is at 200. We need to find the variable cost and the marginal cost. So we know that when labor is 1, it's 1 times 200, the variable cost. The cost of 1 labor is 200. The cost of 2 labors then becomes 400, of 3 labors becomes 600, and then 4 labor, it's 800. That is 200 times 4. To find the marginal cost, we said marginal cost equals to wage divided by marginal product of labor. So the wage is 200 divided by marginal product, it's 20, that becomes 10. And then 200 divided by 30, it's 6.67. And 200 divided by 20, it's 10. 200 divided by 10, it's 20. So what does these results show us? As you add the second, when looking at the marginal product, as you add the second labor, output increases faster than the wage. Marginal product increases, and we can see that the marginal cost decreases from 10 to 6.67. The law of diminishing return starts when adding the third and the fourth labor. We can see that from the third labor, it starts decreasing. From 30, it becomes 20, and then it becomes 10. And as marginal product falls, marginal cost increases from 6.67 to 10 to 20. Let us look at the last exercise. Given this table here, we are given output and total cost, and we need to fill in the blanks. So starting with fixed cost, we can see that when output is 0, total cost is 100. But we also know that the equation for total cost is equals to fixed cost plus variable cost. So in this case, there is no variable cost, there is only fixed cost, which is 100. And fixed costs do not change as output changes, so it becomes 100 everywhere. Meaning that our variable cost will be 25, 45, and 57, because total cost equals to fixed cost plus variable cost. The marginal cost, it is important to remember and to know your equations, because your marginal cost is change in total cost divided by change in output. And once you put it here, your equation here, it becomes easier than to do your calculations, because then it's total cost, change in total cost divided by change in output. Output is changing by 1 because it's 1 less 0, 2 less 1. So this one is easier. So we know that we're dividing by 1. Change in total cost is 125 divided by 100. It becomes 25 divided by 1. And it becomes 25. 145 less 125. It's 20 divided by 1. It's 20. And we have 12 here. Average variable cost. Average fixed cost is the next one. So it's fixed cost divided by output. Our fixed cost is 100. 100 divided by 1, it's 100. Divided by 2, it's 50. Divided by 3, it's 33.33. Average variable cost, the equation is variable cost divided by output. And our variable cost is 25 divided by 1. That becomes 25. 45 divided by 2, it's 22.5. 57 divided by 3, it's 19. Average total cost, equation is total cost divided by output. Our total cost is here, 125 divided by 1, it's 125. And then it's 72.5 and 52.33. Thank you for watching. Please remember to like, subscribe, and comment.